Shields up, Ironbreakers. Welcome back to Granblue Fantasy Relink. This is one of the games that I'm the most excited for going into 2024. The game is going to be releasing on the 1st of February on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and Steam. And if you pre-order the digital edition on PlayStation, you're going to be getting something like 3 days early access. Naturally, this is all subject to change, as they mentioned on their website, due to like potential server maintenance and whatnot. But that is currently their plan. As of the recording of this video, there really isn't a whole lot of information as to whether or not this promotion is also going to be extended on Steam. So if you're planning on getting it for PC, most likely going to be waiting until the official release date of 1st of February. You might be wondering, what do you mean you don't know? Well, I don't know because a lot of the information that has been released about this game is actually in Japanese, which makes it rather hard for me to even create content on it because, you know, I have to look through a bunch of Japanese websites to get information and whatnot. One of the really cool things that happened near the end of the year, last year, was that the team over at Eric's Gaming, Paradise Central and 269, actually got to play the game, and they were able to bring out a whole lot of information from their play sessions. As a matter of fact, this is something that I have planned. I've already reached out to Paradise Central. I want to see if we can all get together and do like a podcast to talk about what the experience is like to play the game. But in the meantime, I figured I'd work on a new video because I was made aware that apparently there's going to be a demo later this month, and I was looking up, you know, all types of information trying to figure out when exactly is this demo being released. And to be honest, at this point in time, I still don't know. All we know is that at some point this month, there is going to be a demo released. However, that demo is only going to be available on PlayStation, which kind of sucks if you don't have a PlayStation and you're interested in playing the game. In my case, I actually wanted to play the game on PC because now I have like a good PC at the studio. I finally have a good PC over at home, which makes things a whole lot easier to just produce content on PC. So, you know, I too wanted to jump in on that, but it looks like we're going to have to first jump in on the PlayStation version, and depending on how the situation works out with early access, that might end up being the main version. We will see how all of those things pan out. As far as I'm aware, there is currently no plans for crossplay or cross-save, which kind of sucks. I really wish they would figure some of that stuff out. But as I was looking up the information for the demo, I was made aware that there's going to be another presentation for Granblue Fantasy Relink that is going to be happening on the 11th of January. So my prediction would be that most likely shortly after that presentation, that is when we're going to be getting the demo. That would make the most sense because, you know, they generate a little bit of buzz around the game with some news from that live stream that they're going to be doing, which, by the way, I'm going to try to co-stream here on the channel, depending on scheduling and depending on whether or not there's going to be some way for me to get access to subtitles or even understand what the hell they're talking about. I would very much like to co-stream it here as well. We'll see if that is a possibility or not. But regardless of that, I just think it makes sense, right? They put on their live stream, and then shortly after the stream, they go and they say, oh, and by the way, if you want to check out the game, you can check it out right now with this demo that we have set up for you. But as I was looking up the information for the demo, I came across this official Cygames website, the magazine, where they have the event highlights of the director panels on Granblue Fantasy Relink, which is where we got a lot of this information regarding the demo and all of that stuff. So I figured I'd check that stuff out. We got some gameplay here from a presentation that they did like a couple of months ago. So this is not the exact same event that we have here, but there's a lot of really good gameplay that you guys can check out while we go over this article. So, for those of you that are not aware, Granblue Fantasy is a mobile gacha game. And I know you guys are like, oh my god, gacha, but Granblue Fantasy Relink is completely different. There's no gacha. At least as far as I'm aware at this point, there is no gacha. You can unlock characters by just playing the game. You don't have to put any real money into it. The plan for this game appears to be more like, hey, here's like a 20 to 40 hour story type of situation. And once you go through that, there's a bunch of multiplayer missions and a bunch of min-maxing that you can do to your characters. There's a bunch of bosses, almost like raid bosses that you can go and do, and you can min-max your characters to optimize how quickly or how efficient you are at dealing with those bosses, and, you know, Bob's your uncle. It's the type of game that you're going to be playing through. I think the idea is to introduce the Granblue Fantasy universe to a new type of players because, you know, up until this point, Granblue Fantasy is basically, as far as I'm aware, that gacha game that isn't even available in the West, which is actually kind of weird. Why wouldn't you make that available in the West, especially considering the success that we've had with Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail, which, by the way, I'm not into that gacha stuff, but I'm just saying. Anyway, continuing onwards, we have the article here. Event highlights, director panels, Granblue Fantasy Relink. The original mobile RPG Granblue Fantasy is turning 10 in 2024. Wow, so this is actually a well-established universe at this point. This year and next, the Granblue Fantasy universe. Oh, by the way, there's also a fighting game, Granblue Fantasy versus Rising, or whatever it's called, which is made by Arc Systems, and apparently a lot of people really enjoy it. It's just I'm not too into fighting games. I'm more into this type of game, action RPGs, that type of thing. The first being the fighting game Granblue Fantasy versus Rising, followed by the action RPG Granblue Fantasy Relink. At a combined press event in early August, directors of both games gave presentations, interviews, and gameplay demonstrations of their respective titles. For this article, the staff at Cygames Magazine put together a recap of our top Relink highlights from the event. Embark on a new journey on the Zega Grande Skydom, coming soon in Relink. So I'm assuming that different zones in Granblue Fantasy are basically called Skydoms, which appear to be like zones that you can travel through on airships, because airships definitely appear to be a big thing when it comes to this, and it seems like it's going to be your main means of traversal through the world, which is something that I really like. As a matter of fact, I've seen some gameplay that takes place on top of the airship, and if you know anything about me, I like, unconventional levels where things happen on top of something that is moving, like stuff that instantly comes to mind. There was a bunch of levels in Vanquish back in the day. Vanquish is a game from Platinum Games, where you would be like on these trams, and those were really cool. There's like some raid bosses that you do in friggin' Final Fantasy 14 where they're, you're in a moving platform as well. I dig those. Like even the old raid where you fight the crazy train or whatever it's called, the Doom Train boss. That is really cool. I just like that type of scenario. I can't really explain exactly why, but it really gels with me. And naturally, this is one of the reasons why whenever we talk about Monster Hunter, people ask me, hey, what monster would you like to see? I'm like, Jan Moran or Duran Moran. I want to fight on a boat, dude. It'll be amazing. And another thing that always comes to mind with stuff like that, I'm sorry, it's just like Lost Planet 2, dude. Like those levels where you're in that whatever type of vehicle that goes through sand, you have to load the cannon, shoot at that big dude, or even the levels where you're on the train. It's just like really, really cool stuff for me. Anyway. So yeah, the whole thing. Skydom, then they say unpacking the adventure story, setting and characters. Granblue is set in a world of floating islands where you and your crew explore the sky in search of the legendary island of the Astrals. Estalucia and Relink, the crew find themselves in the brand new Zega Grande Skydom, so I'm assuming this is like a new group of islands or whatever, encountering a number of brand new faces, powerful primal beasts, and characters original to Relink, like the mysterious swordsman Id and the handy fixer-upper Roland. See, one of the things that you need to keep in mind is that a lot of the characters that are going to be coming to Granblue Fantasy Relink are already established characters in the mobile game Granblue Fantasy. These are characters that you can pull through gacha. However, some of the characters are going to be new, like Id, and I think this character here is also going to be new. I don't know exactly how many new characters they're planning on, but it seems that a lot of the characters that they have on here are actually characters that are already in the game. Let me just skip a little bit ahead in the video here to put some more gameplay. The Relink team has worked to make new title exciting and easy to pick up, whether a player has been exploring the Skydoms for a decade or is embarking on their very first Granblue voyage. We have a character here who is Grand. This is like the main player character. I'm assuming this is the first character that you get in the gacha game, and this is going to be the character that you control at the starting of the story, and it is actually one of the characters that seems very appealing to me. He just has a short sword, because a lot of the other characters have weapons that I'm not too into. I'm very curious, like if you guys are wondering which characters I'm the most interested in from the characters they've announced so far, I'm interested in Gran, which is the main character. I'm interested in Eugene and, well, not Eugene, Eugen. I don't know how to pronounce his name. This guy, because he's got a big old cannon and an eye patch. He looks like he'll be cool. And then there's the fire guy, which is actually this dude. He's in this party somewhere. I'm not sure if they're showing him or whatever, but I forget what his name is. I think it starts with an F. But he's got like a big fire sword, does a bunch of like fire attacks and stuff, and that just looks cool. So yeah, those are like the 3 characters that I'm the most interested in. I've been told by people that there's like a Gunlance type character, but she's not available in the game. However, I know that the team, yeah, see the dude in red, he's one of the dudes that I'm interested in. However, the team is most likely going to be bringing in more characters naturally depending on the success of the game. So there's still potential for whatever character exists in that game with a Gunlance to eventually be added. So please, Cygames, can we have the Gunlance character? Anyway, Skyfarers are adventurers, Granblue universe, which are these characters and stuff you get to choose. Something for everyone, action buffs and beginners alike. Players can hand off combat duties to the CPU, enabling assist mode or full assist mode. Full assist mode takes care of dodging, guarding, and attacking. Just move the character and they'll do the rest. So this is like an accessibility thing. One of the things that it's like, look, if you want to play like that, I think that's fine. And, you know, it makes the game accessible to more people. It is whatever. But I do kind of feel like, you know, manual control of the character should be rewarded somehow. So I don't know how they're going to be balancing that. But, you know, just saying there needs to be some kind of like push and pull there. Also, there's like just a regular assist mode that keeps attacks in the hands of the player with simplified inputs. Either mode can be used to clear the story, allowing players to enjoy the game however they want. Now, it is important they say here, clear the story, which means to actually engage in the multiplayer quests, which is a separate thing from the story. Most likely, you're going to need to engage in manual combat. The main story is estimated to take around 20 hours to complete, with post-game content bringing the total playtime around 30 to 40 hours. Now, this just has to do with the story itself, is my understanding. So first you do 20 hours of story, and then after you do some multiplayer quests, which, by the way, the multiplayer part is optional. You can just, you know, bring in NPC characters with you if you don't want to play with other people, which, by the way, I have a video where I go into much greater detail about all of this stuff from looking over the Eric's videos and whatnot. But yeah, just pointing that out because there is going to be much more content. Like you'll see here, ample side content. Relink will have collectibles and over 100 quests with some rare weapons to find for those who brave the most difficult adventures. Like I said, there's going to be something like the equivalent of raid bosses. I mean, you can see that this thing that they're fighting over here is like a boss with mechanics and stuff like that. And god damn, this fire character looks amazing. Yeah, I'm pumped about this character, dude. He might end up being my main character out of everything that I've seen so far. We'll have to see. Anyway, then we have over here story, traverse various islands, diverse combat system, assist modes available, quest, 4-player co-op, over 100 quests, post-endgame content, progress, character customization, plenty of side quests, and collectibles. I mean, I see this as the type of game where I'm probably going to sink in like 100+ hours. I don't know if there's going to be enough content to go, you know, all the way past like 200 hours or so. If there is, I'll be happy. But if there's not, I mean, it's like once I'm over 100 hours, I feel like I'm good. Unless there's content in there that I'm like, oh no, I want to keep pushing and I want to keep doing things. At the end of the day, each character is going to feel almost like a weapon in Monster Hunter. It's still not been made perfectly clear to me if like the character levels are account wide or if you're going to have to level each character separately, and how are you going to be able to do that. I think that for a game like this, it probably makes sense that you'll have to level the characters separately, but I'm hoping there's some type of system that allows you to kind of like, you know, oh, now I can just boost this character through the quest system and progress my own account through grinding. Because I already know there's going to be like a system almost like gems of some kind. I forget what they're called in this game. I talk about that in the other video. So I'm assuming that as you grind those gems, they become available for other characters and kind of make things a little bit easier. Now, gameplay details. There's a multitude of characters to control, each with their own unique playstyle. Tackle battles with up to 3 CPU allies and coordinate with them to launch link attacks. Like the mobile game, players can chain together ultimate attacks called Skybound Arts with other party members to trigger a chain burst. Moreover, battle banter is fully voiced. Now, an interesting thing is that this is a very popular thing when it comes to Asian gaming. Like people over there in Asia, and especially Japan, they really enjoy these fully voiced characters. And in my case, I also happen to enjoy them as well. Like I played Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak with the voices thing dialed all the way up so that you have frequent commentary from your hunters. But the usual reaction that I see from a lot of people in the West is that they actually don't like that. So even though battle banter is fully voiced, I hope that the developers think of putting in an option that allows players to tone that down a little bit, because I can assure you that in the West, there's at least a large portion of people that don't want to hear the characters constantly calling out their attacks. Even though, to each their own, I just hope that there's like a slider that you can customize. Not for me, but for other players, to ensure that that is not a complaint that we get, because I want to see a game like this be as successful as possible, because it just looks super exciting to me, and I want to see what the developers do. But we'll see how it pans out once I actually get to play it, right? The Relink team developed each character to be unique with their moves and actions. Like I said, playing a different character is almost like playing a new weapon in Monster Hunter. Their goal was to make the player feel as if they were experiencing the game anew every time they chose a different character to play. Complete the different game experience with every character. Players will be able to fine-tune their playstyle further with Relink's character customization, unlock new skills through the mastery systems, or mix up the equipable weapons and sigils. See, sigils is the thing that I was talking about. You're going to be able to equip sigils, and that is you're going to fully customize your playstyle with that, and you're going to be doing like big raid bosses, and they're going to reward you with brand new sigils that you can then, go into crafting and level up and do all these crazy things to fully min-max your characters, right? With so many characters and combinations to choose from, part of the fun will be exploring what works best for you, and they show us character customization here with mastery nodes and whatnot. Let me actually see if there's a way for me to zoom into this image a little bit more. Okay. Character customization, we see some notes here. There's not a whole lot of resolution, so there's not a whole lot that I can really take up from this. Unlock mastery nodes to learn new skills and power up your stats. Characters can assign up to 4 skills at a time. So there's only ever going to be 4 skills available to your character at any given time, but you're going to be able to customize what those skills are to, to fully customize your playstyle and whatnot. Anyway, various weapons and sigils can be equipped on each character. The various weapons thing, I'm assuming that it's, you're still going to use the same weapon type. I don't think that different characters can equip completely different weapons, just in case people think that that is going to be the case. Like, for instance, if you look at the characters here, Rifleman Yugen, I think he's only ever going to have, rifles. You're not going to see him with, a sword. At least that's the vibe that I'm getting from this game, because, again, I haven't gotten to play it yet. What we love, the environment art. Lastly, we wanted to show off something that caught our staff's eye, Relink's lovely environments. And by the way, you guys are like, staff? What do you mean? This is they have separate staff that work on the game, and then staff that does their PR and stuff. They're separate from the development team. That is what is happening here. I thought there was even more gameplay. I guess we ran out of gameplay. We'll just rewind this all the way back here. The Relink team put a ton of passion to bringing the world of Granblue to life, even going so far as to hand-drawn textures for every background object. Damn, the distinctive mood of each island and region showcases just how vast and special the Sky Realm truly is. This boss looks friggin' awesome, by the way. It's massive. I'm very curious as to how you actually fight this. Did you know that every cloud is actually modeled differently? That's taken cloud gazing in a video game to a whole new level. From the editor, I was blown away by how expansive the characters' voice interactions were. It felt like there was always something going on. I really got the sense of party members were actually there fighting alongside me. Can't wait to do things like take control of Proto-Bahamut or square off against primal beasts in big boss battles, as was hinted in Relink's release date trailer. Relink's release date is planned for February 1st, 2024. We hope you're looking forward to it. Keep your eyes on Rising's and Relink's official accounts for more info drops. If you haven't watched it yet, showcase video has English subs, which is the video that I'm showing here. This particular video has English subs. But, yeah, the game is looking like it'll be a lot of fun. We're going to be having a demo ahead of the release, which is always a good thing, because I know right now that there's probably a lot of people that are skeptical about that. This is going to allow content creators and media to actually take a look at what the gameplay is like, and even just players that happen to have a PlayStation system And not even just the PlayStation 5, you're going to be able to test this out on PS4. So anybody that has a PlayStation either 4 or 5 is going to be able to check this out and see for themselves if this is something they're interested in. Me personally, I'm super excited to check it out. I'm going to be reporting on it. I'm going to be streaming on it. So if you're interested in Granblue Fantasy Relink, make sure to subscribe, bell notification icon, all of that jazz. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe. Peace out.